Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a privilege to be here today. And I would like to start with my presentation. When in October 2016, we got the first call from Rahul Saraf and Mr. Somani, and they said that they wanted to do a very small Autism Center in Calcutta, and if we can go and have a look at the site. Within a week, I was scheduled to be in Calcutta, so we did that, and we were astonished to see some 50 acres of land. And that was a small dream for these people. And we were completely caught unaware with the scale of the development, which kept on growing over the last 2 years as we went forward. So he didn't think what was good for him. He thought what was good for everyone. And that's how we started the journey. When we do architecture, every building and every building has some architecture which has got facade, structure, layout, and they open up to certain gifts. But this one, and very few when we do, are handheld lights which you can shine on anything. And they become examples of how design and architecture can actually change world. When we design for autism, plurality becomes a big cause for us. So when we do, it's one space, but many worlds. So the challenge in autism is always about diversity. This is the site. Because the center has been well explained by Mr. Somani, I would go directly to where we are building. This is, as Mr. Somani mentioned, this is 1.5 hours away from the city center and half an hour from the city outskirts. It's a beautiful, green, fertile land with beautiful water bodies and very, very nice, full-grown trees. So this is a real 52 acres of land, under position, bounded by boundary on all the sides, and flat. These are some of the images. There are fruit orchards and almost in 2 to 3 acres of land which we are planning to retain. There's a nice water channel that actually runs through the middle of the site, connecting 2 large water bodies on both the edge, which gives us the opportunity to do rainwater harvesting. So the idea is that this is going to be a zero discharge site, and we also should be able to sustain completely without connecting to the city mains. The broad program, we are around 52.8 acres of land with 350 residents and 250 day boarders. Now, each of these residents and each of the day boarders will actually have a 1-in-1 ratio of assistants. And going around the complete clock of 24 hours, we'll have 3 shifts of assistants. That makes the center at any given point of time, will have almost 1,500 to 2,000 people. The broad program, it's got a large daycare center where vocational therapy and everything else for the residents is taken care of. There's a neuroscience and research center for research and development, training college, which Mr. Somani actually elaborated on. We have a large recreation block, which has got 3 swimming pools, one for children, one for ladies, and one for gents. There's an amphitheater, auditorium, an area for pets of all kinds, and farm area, and almost 20 acres of parent housing. There were various workshops since 2016, end of, in 17 and 18, where we actually went out to set the goals for the Autism Center. And, what we realized is there is no singular perfect model for this, just as there is no singular prototype for autism. So we advocate diversity. So the base principles were set up for the design of the campus. The campus design is integrated environment. We wanted a distinctive sense of place so that it becomes a center of national importance. Then we also wanted a place where interaction and exchange of knowledge can take place. And sustainability and resilience became our goal. So net zero is still a goal. We are not sure whether we will be able to achieve it, but it's still a goal. And From the architecture side, safety and security is the primary, because no person is comfortable in a place which is not 100% safe. We understand autism to an extent, and we say that, we have to maximize familiarity, stability, and clarity. And also, we will allow the people under spectrum to withdraw into private spaces. So it's not like that the whole space is about social interaction. There are lots of private spaces where they can actually go into, and that will actually help us to enhance their dignity as well. So right from the entry, we have the auditorium, the welcome block, training college, the parents' housing, pet zones, and then the whole gated community. So all the students who are living there are actually in a gated community, completely secure. That's the master plan for the center. I think it will work. It may not work, the pointer may not work on the screen, but right, 02 and 03 are the auditorium block and the main neuro research center right in the beginning of the campus. As we go inside, we have the main welcome block along with the training college, which is 05 and 04, which are mentioned there. 6 is the main daycare center. It's an earth-bermed structure. So there is one level which is below, and there is one level on top. The therapy part is actually which is on top, and the rest of all the vocational training is under the berm. You see all the square boxes where 8 is mentioned are where the people under spectrum are living. We have designed a family unit which is with 3 bedrooms and 1 caretaker in each unit, so that each can form one singular unit, and such units are spread all across the campus. And towards 12 is all the parent housing. So there's a road which actually completely disconnects the India Autism Center from the parents' housing, but still it's a very integrated campus. There are some of the pictures we actually took of the model which is on display at the stall here at the Architect's Corner. This is the main entrance. We have a narrow entrance which actually leads to a very rectangular 50-acre plot. And that's the main daycare center. What you see on the dome is an observatory where a telescope is also placed, and also it gives a sense of institution to the entire place. What we aspire to do is true and pure architecture here. So what we're using is exposed concrete and bricks. So there's no cladding on top of any of the material, which is based on the reinterpretation of the liquid landscape of Bengal. So if you see, Bengal is all about terracotta, about water, and about pure architecture. And the same brick and concrete is then crafted into beautiful details that we'll do as we go forward. That's the main entrance. Okay. The training block. While standing on the berm, on the daycare center, looking in at the campus. And this was a new experience for us as well, because when we do buildings, it's very easy because we are taught how to do, a window or door or a sill or a plinth or all the details of a building. But when we are designing for people under spectrum, you have to learn the language once again. It's like, for us, it was like learning French once again. So a door is no longer a door, a window is no longer a window, a sill or a level is no longer a sill or a level. Everything had to be taught once again, researched and understood whether it's a requirement and how we can reinterpret that to be safe for the children who are going to use the facility. And there were various case studies which were available to us, but however, we couldn't find a single one code document for children under autism, which was very surprising because we don't have any technical architectural guidelines, although there are studies published, but they are not tangible in any way. They are broadly theoretical in nature. So what we intend to do now is we learn during this conference, and we also want to, in a way, come out with a handbook of, a very tangible, numerical way of interpreting how we could do set up code for the children under autism, building codes. So it has the whole idea was that it should have a very powerful sense of identity and a very authentic sense of place. So this is a palette which is just ready for us. What we seek during this conference in our Architects Corner is actually to open up all the plans to all of you and learn as much as possible so that we can improve on it going forward. I would like to run the walkthrough once again, which was briefly run in that in that thing again. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.